Hey, action. So, people like talking. People hate doing dishes. I hate doing dishes too. For some reason, they always leave the sponge with the dishes. It's annoying. I hate doing dishes, to be honest. It's a fucking pain in the ass. I wonder if other people actually scrub down their sink or if they just keep washing their dishes. Like, I wonder sometimes, how do people wash their dishes? What is their kind of process? What's the priority? What's not the priority? And whatnot. I mean, it's like almost watching their personality, I guess you could say, in a way. Because everyone does things a different way. Everyone lives their life in a different way. And it's just something I find kind of relaxing to think about, that everyone does this. Like, when you think about everyone has to wash dishes, like, it doesn't make it as bad as me sitting in my room like 20 minutes ago thinking about, oh fuck, I don't want to wash the dishes. But I mean, being here now, like, thinking about how everyone else has to go through this and how some people, it's their job to wash dishes, and they literally wash dishes 8 hours a day, every day. That just blows my mind. How we don't contemplate how small our lives really are and how many things are going on right now. There's probably hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people washing dishes right now as I'm washing dishes. And that's pretty crazy to me that I'm not the only one. There's plenty of people out there who do it differently. Some people might start with the cups first. Another person with the plates. The other person might just throw all the utensils in a big soapy dish and let it soak. I don't know. Some people might set aside the knives for last because they're scared of getting cut. But I don't know. I just find it interesting. Like, this whole setup is completely overkill. Like, I'm literally recording at 4K using two different mics. For what? To talk to nobody. Talk to myself, I think. I just want an excuse to think out loud. I think when I vocalize things into, or manifest them physically, like my voice expressing in actual words and sounds and vibrations instead of just electrical signals in my brain, it changes it into something else. Kind of like when you write down your feelings as opposed to just feeling them. It helps separate yourself, makes it become transient, and you become, I guess, kind of more in the moment. This is going to be a very long 30-minute video of me just shooting shit and washing dishes. But that's all my SD card can only record about 45 minutes of 4K footage. so hopefully I can finish these and get to some point, I guess. This isn't for the people who like watching YouTube videos. This isn't for the normal crowd. This is for the people who like literally want to slow down their life for 30 minutes. Kind of just reflect. I think that's a bad habit we have lately. We're living too fast. It's just we have a million things, a million distractions, a million relationships, a million things waiting for us, but we never wait for ourselves. We don't give ourselves the time to sit down and reflect and think about things, think about where we're heading, our direction. We're just focused on the goal, the bottom line. It's important to enjoy the journey sometimes. Not always, because sometimes the goal is all you really need. And then from there you start living. But when you think about it, really, it's you're living right now as you're achieving that goal. Why put that off for later when you have it right in front of you right now? That's just what I think. I don't know. I'm trying to live without regrets now. I've regretted a lot of things. I spent the last 10 years trying to heal a lot of trauma and limiting behavior and limiting thoughts that just don't let me do what I want to do. Like I overthink things and to the point where I just end up paralyzed, or I talk myself out of things doing what I want, which I later regret, or not taking advantage of opportunities because I'm like, oh, I'm not worth it, or I'll never win, or whatever. It's like, whatever, dude, just go for it. Just try new things. Open yourself up to those experiences. If they're bad, well, then they're bad. Then you have an experience and you can say with the fact that it was a bad experience for you. You could say that with certainty because no one can invalidate your experience because it's your experience. You value it. You validate it, and that's valuable because no one else is you. No one else can, I guess, devalidate or unvalidate that kind of experience that you live in. But yeah, this is really annoying because like no one soaked half of these dishes, so like the food is really stuck on and I have to really scrub. But that's just how life is sometimes. There's these patches that are real difficult to come over and you just have to persist or live with a clean dish with some food stuck on it and just be like, fuck it. Maybe I'll wash it again. Maybe I'll just say, fuck it, I'll eat the food with some dirty dish. I mean, this isn't a restaurant. This isn't like some random strangers. Like you know what you served, you know what you ate. I mean, it's up to you. It's your experience, ultimately. It's your decision. People might think that's gross, that's lazy, but I mean, is it really? You're in your own house with your own dishes, you wash your own dishes, so it's like, who are you to judge? I think it's the expectation of it is what kind of messes with things. Because like if you go to someone's house, you expect to eat or you go to a restaurant, you expect to eat off of a clean dish. I mean, it's expected societally, but like what if that wasn't the norm? Would we expect it? Like what if I went to India and ate off of some street vendor? Or because I've heard stories where like there's like real street vendors like serve you on like not really unsanitary, but just like conditions that we're not accustomed to. And is that unsanitary? Is that bad when for them that's their norm, but to us it's not ours? It's the expectation that makes it wrong. It's just there's no right or wrong when it comes to that. People kind of hate that wishy-washy type of thing, but I mean, it's all context. It's all value-based. It's all what you deem important, what you deem unimportant, because it goes back to your own personal experience, I guess. You're the one who validates or unvalidates those beliefs and expectations. Like, you have complete control over how you're going to process something, how you're going to feel something. Some people don't have the discipline, and I can understand that. Some people need therapy to get over it. Some people need just time and experience, just living life to kind of get the whole picture. Some people never get the picture and they just live their entire life just reactionary, just never quite understanding why they are the way they are. They just think that it's in absolute living that way. But there is no cure, there is no possibility to change, but there's always possibility. There's always a possibility to change, to do better, I think, anyways. You might call that a romantic notion, but it is, and I kind of live by that. I always do better. I can wash dishes faster so I don't have to deal with them. I think if I washed more dishes more often, because I live in a house with other people and sometimes I use dishes for them, but if I wash the dishes more often, would I be faster at washing the dishes, and would I just get used to it, and would it not be such a big deal to me? I don't know, maybe. Or maybe my experience would be that I would hate washing the dishes more because I wash them so often. But I guess it all depends on my frame of mind and my perspective going into washing dishes and coming out of washing dishes. It's weird how such a simple task of just scrubbing something with soap can elicit such a train of thought, which I find fascinating. Like, it's super simple, super easy, super repetitive, but talking here and expressing myself, my thoughts, this kind of active meditation, this active reflection on doing these simple chores is making me feel better, because lately I've been kind of really fucking depressed and not wanting to even do basic hygiene. You might think that's gross, but that's just like how it goes sometimes when you have real mental illness that goes untreated for a long time. And sometimes I ignore the symptoms. I try to power through them with willpower, and then it just all... And then and then I feel like I'm surprised that it just like sprung up on me, that it just ambushed me, but in reality it was always there. I was just ignoring it, suppressing it, whatever, because I wanted to not give myself that rest. I wanted to compare myself to what others are doing, but not focusing on what I need. And I think that's another big issue that a lot of people are suffering because of that we focus on what is expected of us, on what others are doing, and we can't focus on what we need to thrive, to basically get better, to find yourself in a better place, to become a better person. It's like we're always struggling just to achieve the bare minimum, just to have food, shelter, a job. And And it's very heartbreaking to me to see that there's people who can offer so much more to the world, and they can't because they need a 9 to 5. They got kids, they got, student loans, they got mortgages, etc., etc. And it's just, I don't think it's fair, especially people with disabilities and stuff. Like, it's real fucked, because they have so much more to offer if we would just support them. Like, one of my favorite people in the world that I follow on social media is Emily Barker, who's a disabled person's advocate, and she's just amazing. Just, I feel, since I'm not really disabled, but I'm a very sickly person physically. I have days where I feel physically ill, and then of course I have mental illness that I've mentioned, and a lot of the things really validate my experience. A lot of things that she says validate my experience and make me realize that we could do better as a society, as people, as a system of rules, I guess you could say. We can do way fucking better, but we don't. We just focus on the bottom line and how we can get the most. And we don't think about each other sometimes. We forget because we're so busy with ourselves, with scraping by, with getting our bare minimum, that we don't have time to worry about other people sometimes. We just don't have the energy to focus. It's like when you got kids and when you got a family and when you have a job or a career on top of scrambling by through your life through 2 hours of traffic both ways, it's ridiculous. Like, people don't have that kind of energy. Just the mental stimulation is just draining. That's not even the physical. That's not even adding the physical aspect to it, where we are not, a lot of us don't eat the healthiest foods or have the healthiest sleeping habits. A lot of people I know are very dependent on caffeine and stimulants, and it's just, you're very hard on your body. And I think it's just because we're young, you don't feel it, but as you get older, I notice people and then they start having health problems. But yeah, it's crazy how much she has to offer, and how much, getting back to talking about Emily, how much she's opened my eyes and my view of the world, of how violent we are systemically towards disabled persons, when she has offered me such wonderful solidarity and just education and insight into a lot of things that I never really thought about, and the experience of being in a wheelchair and being unable to physically go places simply because the form factor of your body or your motor limitations of not being able to walk or climb stairs really limits where she can go and what she can do in her life. And I think that's horrible, because I think everyone deserves a right to be able to at least pursue their own life. And the way things are right now, she can't even pursue her life the way she wants to. It's kind of that whole life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, or whatever you want to call it. Like, she should be able to pursue what she wants, but due to her disability, she can't earn money because the government's only going to give her so much for being disabled. But if she earns too much, then they're like, oh, well, we don't have to give you any money because you don't need it. And then either way, she can't really afford basic living expenses. And that applies to a lot of people, not just her. There's an entire demographic of people that are stuck with being unable to make enough to live off of or get enough to live off of from the government. And it's just heartbreaking. It's fucking horrible. She can't even wash dishes like me because there's no countertops or sinks that are at wheelchair height. So even me standing here right now and washing these dishes is a privilege. She can't even wash her own dishes unless it's putting it into a dishwasher. But yeah, that's just how it goes, I guess. Yes, I'm washing styrofoam plates. Why not? Until they get too warped from the microwave that we have to throw away. Usually these come from takeout, but I know my mom likes to buy them because she doesn't like washing dishes. So I wash them until they get nuked enough where we shouldn't be using them anymore. No, I probably washed this, but I want to give it another pass. But yeah, washing dishes is a trip. It's crazy how everything comes back to just washing dishes. How many people I can connect with, how many people I can think of, or that I can connect to the human experience through something simple as washing dishes. How many people all over the world in the different ways, like some people don't have sinks, some people have to they might wash their utensils or their bowls or their pots in a river, in a stream. Some people might even have to be doing it in a bathtub. Some people don't even have running water, even though they live in a city, that they can use safely. It's just all these people connected by a simple action. Washing dishes. It's a trip. It trips me out. But yeah, I'm just about done. I just gotta rinse these dishes, but I don't really have anything I want to talk about anymore. I'm kind of all talked out, I guess, for now. So, see you guys in the next one. Might do this again, might not. Who knows? Because right now I don't have a good microphone, and so if I start running water, it's going to sound like shit, and you're not going to be able to understand what I'm saying. So, I think that's it for today. See you guys.